Welcome back, and thank you for joining me for our Lenten Daily Devotionals. This is day 23, March 11th. We continue on page 48 of A Story to Tell with a reading from the 8th chapter of Mark. And Mark writes this. Jesus said, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake and for the sake of the gospel will save it. For what will it profit them to gain the whole world and forfeit their life?" Our quote to ponder this morning comes from Douglas John Hall, The Cross in Our Context. He writes, "It's easy enough to claim belief in God, but the question that must always be put to such claims is simply, which God? What is your image of this God in whom you claim belief? What kind of company does your God keep? What does your God ask of you, if anything?" Our reflective reading this morning is titled, "There is a Cross for Me." A popular entertainer sings about losing yourself in moments that must be embraced even when they involve great risks. These lyrics remind me of Jesus' words, "Let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." In denying ourselves, we put the needs of others ahead of our own self-interest and success. Crosses are signs of what we are called to do, however difficult or impossible, as Jesus leads the way. Many people have found peace, honor, and purpose in denying themselves, taking up the cross, and following Jesus. This does not conform to the logic of this world, but Christ's redeeming love gives us new life, strength, and wisdom that the world cannot give. I often hear folks use the term, "I guess this is just my cross to bear." Oftentimes when I hear that phrase, "this is just my cross to bear," folks are talking about an illness or a burden or some suffering that the world has laid on them, and they say, "This is just my cross to bear. I guess I'll just have to deal with it." Those situations are indeed difficult and can certainly feel like you're being dragged down by a bunch of extra unwanted weight. But I don't think that that's what Jesus was talking about when he said, "Deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me." Certainly, Jesus experienced great pain and suffering leading up to the cross. His cousin was beheaded. His best friend died. He was betrayed by one of his closest friends. He was sentenced before a corrupt court, taken to jail, nearly beaten to death, then brought back out into the public square, dressed up, mocked, cheered, and spit on, all before there was even any march towards the cross. Jesus certainly knows our human suffering, but that human suffering was not the cross or what happened on the cross. What happened on the cross was the ultimate example of putting others ahead of yourself. Jesus emptied himself, gave up his wants, his desires, his plans to sacrifice for others, for everyone who ever lived ever. He did it willingly. I'm confident that he did it willingly, not because he was nailed to a cross and couldn't get down, because I think scriptures tell us something different. When Jesus was nailed to the cross, there was a Roman soldier sitting at the foot of the cross, and he looked up and he mocked Jesus. "If you are the Son of God, why don't you just bring yourself on down from the cross?" And we know Jesus was the Son of God, and that those nails, however painful they may have been, did not hold Jesus to that cross. What held Jesus to the cross was his love for us, his unwavering, self-denying love for us. He denied his very life willingly to give life to others. I like to think that I am a generous person because I try to give to others. But often I give to others out of my abundance of God's gifts given to me. My treasure, my time, my talents, my skills. But when I compare that to what I hear today in Mark's gospel, I'm not so sure that that is denying myself and picking up my cross. I have to ask myself, when was the last time I gave so much that it meant I had to give up something that I would really miss or really want to keep for myself? I have to scratch my head and really think about that one. So I pray this morning that God helps me recognize where I'm being called to sacrifice my wants, needs, and desires for the sake of others. And I pray that I have the courage to deny myself and follow the way of Jesus when those are made known and clear to me. I have to think, if I can do that, if we can do that, my friends, we will be changing the world. Amen? Let's close with the prayer this morning. Dear Jesus, encourage and sustain us to take up the cross and follow you. Give us faith to go where you are leading us, trusting that even amid suffering and death, you are the giver of life, joy, and peace. Amen. Thank you again for joining me today for our Lenten Daily Devotionals. Please like, share, or comment at the bottom of the post today. I hope that I will see you all back here again tomorrow. Have an awesome day.